Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com and Baseball777.Info. I'm a very passionate baseball fan. Many of you know me as a boxing fan, but I'm also a very passionate baseball fan. And yesterday, Mark McGwire announced that he knew steroids and HGH on a first name basis, that he used both to help enhance his performance. And as a fan of baseball, as well as someone who knows that technology has moved forward, and whereas yesterday it was chewing tobacco and amphetamines, and today, given all the money in sports, it's steroids, it's HGH, it's THG, it's drugs we don't even know about, it's fake hemoglobin, it's EPO. Quite frankly, it's impossible to test for all of the drugs that can enhance performance. So, as a baseball fan, I think it's my duty to make suggestions for the sport because what we want to do, at least what I want to do, is while seeing the highest level of play that I can see today, I also want the records to have integrity, and I also want to put today's accomplishments in the proper context vis-a-vis the accomplishments of yesterday and Roger Maris and Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth. So, what I want to propose to baseball is a possible solution. I believe baseball's focus is wrong. They're looking for what they call a level playing field. I don't think that should be the goal. I think what the goal should be is to actually just tell the fans exactly how skewed the playing field might be. Tell us what's going on. And so what I propose is the following. Allow the players on an individual basis to opt out of a rigorous baseball testing regimen. And for those who do opt out, have a designation. It can be an asterisk, it can be a star, whatever you want it to be, but have a designation next to the athlete's name. So if they opt out of drug testing in a given year and then hit more than 61 home runs, more than the clean record, quote unquote, then the fans will know that the clean record is 61 home runs and that this opting out record is an opting out record. The end result will be that you'll have two sets of records. The clean record will get the reverence it deserves. It'll be the reference point. You'll have Hank Aaron with his home run total, 755, and we'll all understand that Hank Aaron did not have access to the kind of performance enhancers that today's crowd has. Players might opt out simply because they don't want to subject themselves to um, weekly blood tests. Some players won't opt out because they'll want the fame, they'll want the recognition, they'll want the commercial opportunities that come with diligently being tested every week and having the public understand that, in fact, they are not chemically enhanced. So, you don't want a juicer hitting more home runs than Hank Aaron and then have Hank wiped out of the books. What you want is a system where someone can hit more home runs than Hank Aaron and, have the fans watch the show. It is entertainment, but also have the fans understand that this player was an opted out of testing player, and of course Hank Aaron's record would be the so-called clean record, or the record before the opting out program was implemented. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on it because it's clear to me that there is a difference between Roger Maris's 61 and Mark McGwire's 70. But my point to you as a modern fan is that both of these records are great accomplishments. So the dilemma baseball has is how do you allow fans to witness greatness? How do you recognize that some of these performance enhancing drugs are actually drugs that bring the game to another level and that also have positive health effects, right? Anti-aging regimens are always filled with performance enhancing drugs. There's an entire HGH culture out there that believes that HGH is the secret to youth. How do you accommodate that culture while also protecting baseball history? And I think the way to do it is to just have a setup where the so-called clean players get tested every Monday, and it's a blood test because that's the only way you're going to spot HGH and EPO. Meanwhile, those that want to opt out are allowed to opt out, and the fans should know before the game, as the season goes along, who are the opted out players and who are the clean players. We should literally have running totals. No doubt you're going to have some teams that are all opted out. No doubt you're going to have some teams that are majority clean. But the point is, the fans own the game, right? The owners own the team for our benefit. Allow the fans to decide if they're going to go see opted out players or clean players or what have you. So that's my take, and let me also make one other point too. Don't penalize the fans by removing the best players from the field. So if a player decides to go into the drug tested clean program, and if he fails a drug test, then what should happen? Granted, you should have a severe penalty, but it should be a penalty that only fines the player, not suspends him, and fines the player for, let's say, something like maybe some predetermined portion of his salary. Then once that clean player tests positive, then that clean player's records will have the same opted out symbol next to them as career long opted out players. Also, another thing too, um, give players, even the opted out players, the opportunity in a given year to get back into the clean program. Allow, let's say, a player who has opted out to actually decide late in his career or what have you, I'm going to go after Roger Maris. The understanding, though, is to do that, he would have to be tested the year before. This way, he won't be steroided up and then say, okay, now you can test me after the steroids leave my body. I'm going to go after Roger Maris with a steroid body. No, the idea would be that if you've been using, let's take an admitted juicer, Alex Rodriguez. If he's been using drugs and he decides he wants to get off of drugs and actually try to make a run for the clean record, then you say to him, you know what? You can do that the year after this one. In other words, go through 1 year of rigorous drug testing so we're assured that all of the drugs are out of your body, and then we'll allow you to compete for the clean record next year. Of course, once you've opted out, then your career marks would have the opted out symbol next to them. Let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree, or let me know if you agree with me. The bottom line is this: I don't want a police state in sports. I also don't want to pay good money, show up at the ballpark, and find out that players like Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, Roger Clemens are not playing. I also don't want situations where, baseball is feverishly trying to catch up with THG and other new drugs. So let's have a two-track system. You can opt out, you can stay in, and the fans get to see excellence either way. Let me know what you think. Thanks.